Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back, and we're on the next part of the scenario. So we have the very first stage set up. The next stage is going to bring us up here, which, if you notice, the road from Markalillo comes up here. So on this one is where we're going to set up our markers. So let's set up a marker, an empty marker. So now we have an empty marker. Now, what's going to happen here is we're going to set this marker up right here. Now if we double click on it, let's set it up, let's set the marker and call it MKR for marker, or MRK for mark, MK for mark, Mark meet Rick. Or let's go with office. Okay. And then I'll show you something else about this too. So let's think of a name for the United Sarani Press, USP. Okay, so which doesn't matter. So now, because that marker's set in there, let's press enter, preview the game. We'll get that little message. Okay, and let's go to the map. Now if we go in here, notice that that marker isn't here. That's because that marker is invisible. Okay, and that's very important for this next step. Because what I want to do is I'm going to set a some stuff right here. So I want to set a let's see, go to systems. We're going to create a task. We're going to set the task up here. So the task, we're going to call it TSK2. Only for synchronized objects. Task ID is going to be 2 because we already had a 1. The title is going to be go to United Sarani Press Office, the USPO. USPHQ. There we go. United Sarani Press HQ. We'll just do that. Now the marker. This is what I was talking about here. So the marker is going to be the marker that we set, which is going to be an empty, which is MK meet office. That's not right. That shouldn't be what this is called. We're going to call this USP office, USPO. So this marker is going to be MK USPO. And I'll show you the point of this too. So that's go to USPHQ. So the description is going to be go to United Sarani Press Headquarters. That's going to be in the description. Now there's going to be a reason for this. It's going to be created. Destination is going to be the mobile position, or module position, which is going to be right here. Now, let's go ahead and set 2 task states. One for created, or one for assigned, and one for succeeded. Now for the assigned, we're going to go ahead and give it a name. So we're going to call it task to assign. And we want to connect it to the task. And we also, and now to get this one to assign, we want it to bounce off of the last one. But what I kind of want to do is I kind of want to check to see if I can't get it to create dynamically. Now that's going to be the tough one, so I might have to do a little research on that, so I'll be right back. Okay, so after looking around, apparently nobody else knows how to do it, and I just really don't want to mess with it right now. Maybe I'll look later and we'll use it later on in like the next scenario or something. So basically what we need to do is come up here to the area where we want to be and find the task assigned. Now the task assigned we need to sync to this trigger? Yeah, this trigger here. So when the succeeded hits, then the task is going to be assigned. So let's come back up here. Next thing we need to do is sync James to the create task module. Then what needs to happen is, so that's synced, that one's synced. Next we need to sync the succeeded, which is going to be TSK succeeded, or sorry, task 2, TSK2 succeeded, and we're going to right click it and sync it to the create task. Now what we're going to do next is we need to figure out a trigger for this to actually happen. So what we can do with this is move it in the middle, because this really isn't too big of an ordeal. We're going to use the gate here. So if we look at the gate, we have this gate here. We're going to use that as the trigger for succeeded. So let's go with set a trigger here. We're going to sync it to James, so set trigger owner as James. This trigger is going to be called TRG TSK2 succeeded. Okay, this one should be TSK1 succeeded. We'll just call it succeed, keep them the same. The only thing that's different in any of these is going to be the number, so it'll stay in numerical order. Let's go ahead and call this one text 1 from Rick. Trigger assign task 1. Did I ever name this one? No, okay. Not. Yeah, trigger assign task 1. Yeah, that's right. And then you have trigger task 1 succeeded, trigger task 2 succeeded, which each one is going to be assigning the next one. So, and this trigger should be decently big, 6 by 2 by 3. Now what this does is there's size A, size B, and size C. Size A is one direction. Size B is another direction, which those two don't matter because it's just X and Y. C, on the other hand, does actually matter because if it's negative, So -1 means infinite, which means that a helicopter could fly through it and it would work. To get rid of that, we want it to be 3 meters tall. And these are in meters, by the way. And we want it to be on the road when he drives through it. So when the owner is present. And what's going to happen is we're going to sync this to the succeeded module. So what will happen is he will, when James goes through it, it'll succeed the next trigger, which I'm going to set the trigger up, or the module up here, the create task, because as you're driving up, so you're driving up here, and you're going to be able to see the dot way back there, but when you drive through this, it'll go ahead and succeed it. It'll go ahead and complete it, tell you that you've completed it. That's already synced to there. That's synced to James. So this is set up. Pretty good. So that's gonna be it for this one, and I'm gonna go ahead and test it. But I'm gonna test it a different way. So I'm going to set up a kind of a dummy variable here. So James is going to be, I'm going to call him Test James, or the real James. Okay. Now, since he's set to it, I'm going to also set down another civilian, which doesn't really matter. I'm going to tell this guy that he is the player. His name is going to be James. No, actually I'm not. Never mind. I'll just go ahead and play it through. To make it easier, I will set down another vehicle here to simulate the vehicle. It doesn't really matter which vehicle I set down this time, because the only one that really matters is the very first one, when he first gets in that first vehicle. But for purposes of hurrying up and not having to drive everywhere all the time, I'm going to set down a helicopter. So let's set down a Blue 4 Pawnee. And I'll set it right over here, so that we can fly there instead. Okay, so what's going to happen now is he's going to get a text, and you're going to have to get in your car, and then you have to drive to the USPO. Alright, let's check this out. Oh, I forgot to set me as the player. If you don't set yourself as the player, that's what happens. So let's get James, make him player, and then go back into it. Save and save often, that's all I can say. That's why I set it to save every 5 minutes. That means I can only lose up to 5 minutes of data. So you get your text message, you come out here, you get inside your vehicle, and then what happened was that one succeeded. Now you have that one up there. Now if we go into the map, go to tasks, USPO. Oh, it doesn't give me a spot for the marker. I was hoping it would. But it does give you this marker here. I was hoping it would give me the other one as well. Oh, I didn't assign. Okay, I know what I did wrong. I think I know what I did wrong. Great. My map's not working now. That's great. So let's come up here. Okay, somehow my button got stuck. And now what I want to do is I want to sync. No, I want to sync. Set random start. The task module, sync to, can we sync it to this marker? No, we cannot. Oh. Let's come back in here. Position size 1 by 1. Okay, so that marker apparently don't matter. I can't remember how to use the marker, so we'll use that later on. We'll use that another time. So let's go back into the game. So you're sitting here and you're like, what? Oh, got a text message. So we got a text message. It says, need you to meet me at the office. So get in your vehicle. So it does kind of help a little bit because, and then that'll say task completed. Now normally you would drive there, but we're not going to drive because we're awesome like that. I didn't want to go into the inventory. Actually, I do want to go in the inventory. Nope. Okay, so let's go 2.2k away. So we just drove all the way from over here. We came up here, we noticed that we didn't need to go here, so we had to travel around. Instead, we could have just went like that, or like that. And now we drive up here. Notice how the marker is. Task completed. And then after this, it's going to pop up there. So then you're going to park. And what we're going to do is we're going to make it where you come in here. Is the elevator usable? Really? That's kind of dumb. Let's see, is there steps? Steps anywhere? There apparently are no I'm lagging. Oh, there it is. So you're gonna have to find out how to get to the very top floor. And then you go into the office, which still isn't the top floor. Oh no, this is the roof. Maybe we can meet on the roof. I think we'll meet on the roof. Inside his... Oh, never mind, that's not an office. No, we won't meet on the roof. But what we will do is we will meet up here in an office somewhere. Cool. We can set this as the office. Is this like a balcony? Yeah. So this is going to be his office in here. And then you're going to have to talk to Rick. And that's whenever Rick's going to tell you what to do. So that's it for this one. We set up the first task in the last video, and then in this video I showed you how to link a second task. The only downfall to this is when you're in here and you go to your map and you go to tasks, you're going to be able to see them. Now see, I haven't figured out how to get away from that yet. So, I mean, I could go ahead and unassign that one and just assign that one if I wanted to. So I'm going to have to look into that and see if I can't fix that. But that's it for setting up tasks. As always, comment, rate, subscribe, and request, and I will see you in the next video.